vice president The vice president occupies the second highest post. He is occupied a rank of next to president. The office is modeled on the line of American vice president. The vice president, like the president, elected not directly by the people but method of the indirect election. So method is indirect election. Member of electoral college consisting of the member of both the House of Parliament. This electoral college is different from the electoral college of election of president. It contains the elected and nominated member of the Parliament. It does not include the member of the state legislative assembly. In the case of president, the elected member of all the state legislative assembly are included. So it does not include the member of the state assembly. But explaining the reason for this, Dr. Bhimrao Ambedkar, the president is the head of the state and his power extend both to the administration by the center as well as the state. Consequently, it is necessary that in the election not only members of parliament should play a role but the member of the state assembly should have a voice. But when we come to the vice president, his normal function are to preside over the council of the state. Okay, so he preside over the function council of the state. It is only on a rare occasion, and that too for a temporary period, that he may be called upon to assume the duties of president. That being so, it does not seem necessary that the member of the state legislature should be also be invited to take part in the election of vice president. So member of the state legislature should be take part, but the manner of the election in same in the both the cases. Thus the vice president election, like that of the president election, is held in accordance with the system proportional representation by mean of the single transferable vote. Qualification: citizen of India. He should have a completed 35-year age. He should be the qualified for the election of the member of Rajya Sabha. He should not hold any office of the profit under the union or the state government. So now first was the Radhakrishnan 1952, then Radhakrishnan again second time, then Zakir Hussain, V.V. Giri and Pathak, Jati, Hidayatullah, then 84 Venkataraman, and in 2012 that was Hamid Ansari. And presently we can see in current affair also. So but sitting president or vice president of the union, the governor of any state, and administrator for the union or any state is not demand to hold any office of profit and hence qualified for being a candidate of the vice president. Further, the nomination of candidate for the election to the vice president must be prescribed 20 elected plus 20 seconder. Every candidate has a security 15,000 rupees. Before entering upon his office, the vice president has to make the subscribe to and the oath and affirmation to bear full faith and allegiance to faithfully discharge the duties, and the office of oath of the office is administered by the president. Conditions are there: he should not be member of either house of parliament, and if any such person elected, he is deemed to have vacated his seat. He should not hold any office of profit. Term of office. So term of office, if I am talking about this, then the vice president hold the office for the term of the 5 year, and date on which he enter upon the office, and can be resigned from his office at any time, addressing to the resignation to president. He can also be removed from the office before completion term. Formal impeachment is not required. He can be removed by the resolution of Rajya Sabha that was passed by the absolute majority. He can be removed by the absolute majority of the Rajya Sabha and agreed to be the Lok Sabha. But no such resolution can be moved unless 14 days advance notice is given. So 14 days notice should be given here. Notably, no ground has been mentioned. The vice president can hold office beyond his term 5 years until his successor assumes the charges. He is also eligible for the re-election. He may be elected for the number of terms also. Okay. Now next one is what? That was the vacancy of the office. On expiry of his term 5 years, by the resignation, by removal, by death, otherwise example when he become disqualified to hold office or when his election declared void. When a vacancy is going to be caused by the expiration of the term of the sitting vice president, an election to fill the vacancy must be held before expiration. If the office falls vacant by the resignation, removal, death and otherwise, Then election to fill the vacancy should be held as soon as possible after the occurrence of the vacancy. The newly elected vice president remain in office for the full term of the 5 year. Election dispute. All the doubts in the dispute of the connection with the election vice president inquired into the decided by the Supreme Court, and his decision is final. The election of person as a vice president cannot be challenged on the ground of the electoral college was incomplete. If the election of a person as a vice president declared void by the Supreme Court, act done by him before the date of such declaration of Supreme Court are not invalidated. So that was for the election dispute. Power and functions. He acts as the ex officio chairman of the Rajya Sabha, and his power and functions are similar to those of the Speaker of Lok Sabha. In the respect of reassemble, the American Vice President, who also acts as a chairperson of the Senate, the upper house of the American legislation. He acts as the president when a vacancy occurs in the office of president due to his resignation, removal, death, and otherwise. He can act as a president only for the maximum period of the 6 months within which a new president to be elected. Further, when the sitting president is unable to discharge his function due to absence, illness, while acting in the president or discharging the function of president, the vice president does not perform duties, and during this period, those duties are performed by the deputy chairman of the Rajya Sabha. Indian and American vice president. Those of the office of the Indian vice president model line of the American vice president, there is a difference. The American vice president succeeded to the presidency when it is failed vacant and the remain president for the unexpired term. In Indian vice president does not assume office the president when it fall vacated, so he merely serve as the acting president. From the above, it is clear that the Constitution has not assigned the significant function, but His Spurious Highness. Some scholars call him His Spurious Highness. This office was created with the view of maintaining political continuity in the state. Emoluments. The Constitution has not fixed emoluments, but he drew the regular salary capacity of the ex officio Rajya Sabha का जो chairman है like that. The Parliament increased the salary that was 40,000 to 1.25 lakh per month. In addition, he is entitled to daily allowances and free furnishes, residence, medical, travel facility. So there is some article. First is Vice President of India 64. Vice President be ex officio chairman of Council of the State. The Vice President to act as a president or to discharge the function during the causal vacancy in the office of absent president. Election that was 67 term. 67 is the term and 66 is the election. And 68 time of holding the election, that was the time of holding the election. 68. 69 oath and affirmation. 70 was discharging the function, and 71 matter relating to the election of the vice president. So these all important for the vice president of India. Prime Minister. In a scheme of the parliamentary system of the government provided, he president is a nominal executive de jure and the prime minister is a real executive. In other words, the president is the head of the state while prime minister head of the government. Constitution does not contain any specific procedure for the election, but Article 75 say only that the Prime Minister shall be appointed by the President. However, this does not imply that President is free to appoint anyone as a Prime Minister. In accordance with the convention, parliamentary system government, the President has to appoint the leader of the majority party of Lok Sabha as a Prime Minister. But when no party has a clear majority, then President may exercise the personal discretion also and Prime Minister. In such situation, the President usually appoint the leader of largest party as a Lok Sabha as a Prime Minister and ask him to seek a vote of confidence in the House. The discretion was exercised by President for the first time 1790. That was the Neelam Sanjeev Reddy and Chaudhry Charan Singh as a Prime Minister after the fall within the Janata Party. There is also one more situation when the President may have to exercise an individual judgment appointment Prime Minister, then Prime Minister's office dies suddenly, there is no obvious successor. This is what happened. Indira Gandhi was assassinated. The President Jail Singh appointed the Rajiv Gandhi as a Prime Minister by ignoring the precedence of the appointment caretaker Prime Minister. Later, Congress Parliamentary Party unanimously elected him as a leader. However, if on the death of the incumbent PM, the ruling party elect the new leader. 1980 Delhi High Court held that the Constitution does not require that a person must prove the majority of Lok Sabha before he is appointed PM. The President may first appoint him as a PM and then ask him to prove the majority in the Lok Sabha within the reasonable period. For example, Charan Singh 79, VP Singh 89, Chandrasekhar 90, VP Narsimha 91, Vajpayee 96, and these kind of this. Now, in 97, Supreme Court held that a person who is not a member of the other house of the parliament appointed as a Prime Minister for 6 months, he should become a member of either house of parliament, otherwise he ceased to be a Prime Minister. Consequently, Prime Minister may be a member of the two houses of parliament. Three Prime Ministers, Indira Gandhi, Deve Gowda and Manmohan Singh, were members of the Rajya Sabha. In the Britain, as a other hand, the Prime Minister should be definitely member of the lower house. Oath and affirmation to bear the true faith and allegiance to uphold the sovereignty, integrity, faithfully discharge his duties to the right to all men of the people accordance with the Constitution. In this oath secrecy, the Prime Minister swears that will not directly or indirectly communicate, reveal the person both under his consideration. The term of the Prime Minister is not fixed in whole office during the pleasure of the President. This does not mean that President can dismiss the Prime Minister at any time. So long as the Prime Minister enjoys the majority support Lok Sabha, he cannot be dismissed by the President. However, if he loses the confidence of the Lok Sabha, he must resign or by President. The salary allowances of the Prime Minister determined by the Parliament. From time to time he gets the salary allowances payable by the Parliament. In additionally, he gets sumptuary allowances, free accommodation, travel allowances, medical facilities, powers. His recommendations person who can appointed as a minister by the President. The President can appoint only those persons as a minister who are recommended by the Prime Minister. He allocate and reshuffle the various portfolio. He can ask the minister to resign, advise the President. He preside over the meeting of the Council of Ministers. He guide, direct, control, coordinate. He can bring about the collapse of the ministry. Since then, Prime Minister stand head of the council. The other minister function when the Prime Minister resign. Prime Minister automatically dissolve of the minister, thereby generate. So, what is next thing regarding the Prime Minister? So here is the relation of the Council of Ministers. So these relationships are there. Like first, the Prime Minister enjoys. Since the Prime Minister stands as the head of the Council of Ministers, the other minister cannot be functioned when the Prime Minister resigns. In other words, the resignation or death of the incumbent Prime Minister automatically dissolve the Council of Ministry. Okay, thereby generate a vacuum. And the resignation or the death of the minister, on the other hand, merely create a vacancy. Next is relation of the President. So he is a principal channel of communication to communicate to the President all the decisions of the Council of Ministers of Administration and the affairs of the state, to furnish the information relating to the administration affair of the Union proposal, to if the President so required to submit for the consideration of the Council of Ministry any matter, decision be taken by the minister but which not considered by the council. He advised the President with regard to the appointment important official, Attorney General, Comptroller, Auditor General, UPSC, Election Commission and Chairman and Finance Commission. He advised President regard to the summoning, proroguing the session. He can recommend a resolution of the Lok Sabha. He announced government policy on the floor. He is the chairman of the Planning Commission, NITI, National Development Council, Integration Council, Interstate Council, National Water Commission. Significant role in the foreign policy, chief spokesperson, crisis manager, leader of the nation, leader of the party, political head of the service. Thus, the Prime Minister play a significant role for the political administrative system. Ambedkar said for any functionary under the contribution is to compared with the US President, Prime Minister is not the President of the Union. So he can be compared as a US President. Role is what Lord Morley said. He described the Prime Minister as a prima inter pares. So who said? That was the Morley. Herbert Morrison, the head of the government. He said the head of the government, that was Morrison. William Harcourt was saying the interstate lunar minors haircut. Jennings was saying he is rather sun around which planet revolves. So sun was by the Jennings. Lasky was saying on the relationship between PM cabinet, said the Prime Minister as a central formation. It is a center to the formation. And Grieve says the government is a master, or the prime minister is a master of the government. Munro saying the captain of the ship, that was saying by the Munro. And Ramsay Moore was saying he is a steering wheel. Moore was saying it is a steering wheel. So the role of the PM in the British parliamentary government is so significant and crucial. Prime Minister government, thus the R.H. Crossman says the post-war the Prime Minister government. Similarly, Berkeley pointed out the parliament is not practiced sovereign. The parliamentary democracy has now collapsed, and the basic defect is the British system is a super ministerial power of the Prime Minister. Now, relationship Article 74 states that it shall be Council of Ministers at the head of the aid and advice to the President. Exercise the function, act the accordance with the advice. However, President may require the Council of Ministry reconsider such advice. Shall act according with the advice tendered by the reconsideration. 75. The Prime Minister shall be appointed by the President, and the other ministers shall be appointed by the Prime Minister, and the Minister shall hold the office during the pleasure of President. The Council of Ministry shall be collectively responsible to the people. It shall be the duty of to communicate the President all decision, to furnish the information relating to the ministry and affair of the Union and the proposal, if the Presidents are required, to submit for the consideration of the Council of Ministry any matter for the decisions has been taken. So that was 74. Council of Ministry aid and advice of the President, other provision, conduct of the business and duty of the Prime Minister as a respect to furnishing the information. So this is Morarji Desai, Charan Singh. You can see this old chief minister who become a Prime Minister. So Narendra Modi was the Chief Minister of Gujarat. Narasimha Rao was the first Prime Minister from the South India, and Deve Gowda was the Chief Minister of Karnataka. Morarji Desai was the Chief Minister of the Bombay. Okay, and Charan Singh, he was the Chief Minister of the Uttar Pradesh. Okay, so this is all about that time. Now next is Central Council of Ministry. So how many pages are there? You can say this 4 pages. Okay, so the Constitution of India provides for the parliamentary system of government, and the Council of Ministry headed by the Prime Minister is the real executive. Principle of parliamentary system deal with the broad general manner. Article 74 deal with the Council of Ministry, while article deal with the appointment and the tenure of responsibility, salary, allowances. 74 there shall be a Council of Ministry with respect to the Prime Minister at the head, aid and advice to the President, who shall, in the exercise of his function, net in accordance with such advice, the President may require the Council of Ministers to reconsider such advice, and the President shall act accordance with the advice tendered by the responsibility. The advice tendered by the Minister to the President shall be not inquired into any court. Article 75. The Prime Minister shall be appointed by the President. Other ministers shall be appointed by the President on the advice of Prime Minister. Total number of the ministers, including the Prime Minister, Council of Ministry, should not be 15% of the strength. 91 Amendment. A member of the either house of the Parliament becoming a political party who is disqualified ground of defection shall also be disqualified. This provision was added by the 91 Amendment. The minister shall hold office during the pleasure of President. The Council of Ministry shall be collectively responsible to the Lok Sabha. President shall administer oath office for the secrecy of the minister. A minister who is not a member of the Parliament for any period of 6 consecutive months shall cease to be a minister. The salaries allowances shall be determined by the Parliament. 7. Conduct all the executive actions of the Government of India shall be expressed to be taken as a name of President. Order and other instrument made by the executed name of the President shall be authenticated, and authenticated shall not be called the question on any ground of not order of instrument. President shall make rule for more convenient transaction of the business and allocation of the ministries. Article 78 duties. So to communicate the minister decisions of the Council of Ministers, furnish the information relating to the administration and the affair, and if the presidents are required to submit for the consideration of the Council of Ministry at any matters taken by the minister but not taken by the council. Article 88. Every minister shall have a right to speak and take part in proceeding any joint sitting of the house of any committee. The nature of the advice of the minister. So Article 74. Article 74 provides for the Council of Ministry with the Prime Minister head and aid and advice to the President. 42 and 44 Constitution Amendment Act for advice is a binding. It advises a binding. Further, the nature of the advice tendered by the Minister to the President cannot be inquired in any court. This provision emphasizing the intimate and the confidential relationship between President and Minister. 1971, the Supreme Court held that even after dissolution, the Council of Ministers does not cease to hold office. Article 74 is mandatory and therefore the President cannot exercise executive power without aid and advice of Council of Ministers. Any exercise power without the aid and advice will be unconditional violation of 74. So whenever the constitution is required, the President, the satisfaction is not personal satisfaction. Now, appointment. The Prime Minister appointed by the President while the other minister appointed by the President advice of PM. This means the President can appoint only those minister who is recommended by the Prime Minister. Usually the member of Parliament, either Lok Sabha or Rajya Sabha, appointed as a minister as a person who is not a member of Parliament. So within the 6 months he should be appointed and become a member of the other House of Parliament. A minister who is a member of one House Parliament has a right to speak and take part in proceedings but can vote only House within the which he is a member. So vote is only within he is a member. Now oath and the salary of the minister. He bear true faith and the allegiance of the Constitution. He uphold the sovereignty, integrity, faithfully, consciously discharge the function to do the right all manner of the people. So in his oath and secrecy, the minister swear that he will not directly, indirectly communicate, reveal to the person any matter that is both under this consideration or become known to him union ministry except may be required. So 1990 oath by the Devilal as a deputy prime minister was challenged as being unconstitutional as constitution provide only for the prime minister. The Supreme Court upheld the oath as a valid stated person for the deputy prime minister is described only and such description not conferred. So now the salary allowances of minister are determined by the parliament from time to time. Minister gets the salary allowances that are payable to the member of parliament. Additionally, he gets sumptuary allowances, travelling allowances. Sumptuary is a 1500 rupees. So responsibility of the minister, it's a collective response. The function and fundamental principle underlying the working of the parliament. Article 75 clearly states the Council of Ministers collective response to the Lok Sabha. This means that all the ministry are jointly responsible for the Lok Sabha for all the act of the omission and commission. They work as a team, swim and sink together. When the Lok Sabha passes no confidence motion against the Council of Ministry, all the ministers have to resign, including Rajya Sabha. Alternatively, the Council of Ministry can advise the President to dissolve the Lok Sabha on the ground that the House does not represent the view of electoral faithfully. The President is the principle of collective responsibility also mean the cabinet decision bind all the cabinet ministers. So it is duty of the every minister to stand by the cabinet decision and support them both outside parliament. If any minister disagree with the cabinet decision not prepared, so Dr. Ambedkar resigned because of differences of the colleague. Now the individual responsibility under Article 75 also contain the principle of individual responsibility. It states the minister hold office during the pleasure of president, and which means the president can remove a minister even at the time when the Council of Ministers enjoy the confidence of the Lok Sabha. So this is the individual responsibility, and the minister remove as a minister only on the advice of Prime Minister in case of differences of opinion and dissatisfaction with the performance of minister. The Prime Minister can ask him to resign, and by exercising this power, Prime Minister can ensure the realization of the rule of collective responsibility. Collective responsibility can be achieved only through the instrumentality of the Prime Minister. Okay, no legal responsibility. The Britain, every order of the King for the public act is countersigned. If the order is violation of any law, the minister would held responsible and would be liable to court. The legally accepted phrase in the Britain, the king can do no wrong, hence he cannot be sued in the court. In India, on the other hand, there is no provision in the constitution system of legal responsibility. It is not required order of president for public act should be countersigned. The court are barred from the inquiring into the nature advice rendered by the ministers. Composition of the Council of Ministers. What is the composition? The Council of Ministers consists of the three categories. First is the ministers, namely cabinet minister, minister of the state, deputy minister. The difference between this lie between the respective rank, emoluments and political importance. So, Prime Minister is the supreme governing authority. The cabinet minister, head of the important ministers, and for home, finance and external affair. They are the member of the cabinet. Now play important role in the policy. Thus, their responsibility is the entire gamut of the central government. The minister. The minister state can either be given the independent charge of the minister department can be attached to cabinet. In case of the attachment, now there is a work under the supervision and guidance of the overall charge and responsibility of the cabinet minister. So they work under the guidance of the cabinet minister. In case of the independent charge, they perform the same function, exercise same power of the ministers. So however, they are not member of the cabinet and do not attend the cabinet meetings unless specially when something related to their ministerial consideration. The rank are deputy minister. These are not given independent charge. They are attached to the cabinet minister or the minister of the states. It must also be mentioned that there is one more category, that is the parliamentary secretariat, and they are member of the last category of the Council of Ministers. They have no department under their control. They are attached to the senior minister and no parliament secretary have been appointed except during the Rajiv Gandhi government. Now at that time, the Council of Ministry may also be the Deputy Prime Minister. So the Deputy Prime Minister appointed mostly in the political reason. So this is for the political reason only. Council of Ministry versus the Cabinet. The word Council of Ministry and the Cabinet are the often used interchangeably. They differ from each other. Why they are different? We can see here. The first is the Council of Ministry. It is a wider body, and Cabinet is the smaller body. Okay, it includes the three category like cabinet ministers, minister of state, deputy minister. It includes only one category, which is thus it is a council of minister. Cabinet minister included here. It does not meet as a body of translates business. It has no collective function, but it meets a body frequently, usually, and deliberate decision regarding the transaction. Thus, collective functions होते हैं किसके? Which is the cabinet. It is vested with the all power, but in the theory. So the Council of Ministers have the powers, but in the theory, its function are determined by the cabinets, and it implement the decision taken by the cabinet. But in case of cabinet, these are practical applications of their power. Okay, and it direct the Council of Ministers taking the policy decision, and these are binding over there. It supervises the implementation of the decision taken by the Council of Ministers too. In the Council of Ministers, it is constitutional body. And in the detail, article 74-75, its size and classification however not mentioned, but its size is determined by the Prime Minister according to the exigency, time and the situation. Its classification into the three-tier body. It has got a legislative sanction. Thus the salary allowances defined by the minister as a member of the Council of Ministers. It is collective responsible to the lower house of the parliament, but in case of cabinet, it is enforce the collective responsibility of the Council of Ministers to the lower house of the parliament. And cabinet is mentioned in under article 352 44th amendment. It did not find a place in the original text, but now also article 352 only define the cabinet. The council consists of the prime minister, other ministers, and article 75 does not describe its power. In other words, role is our political administrative system based on the parliamentary government developed by the Britain. Now the role of cabinet, it is a highest decision making body, policy formulating body, supreme executing authority, coordinating authority, chief crisis of manager, deal with the major legislative function, exercise control the higher appointments, it deal with the foreign policies also, and role of the description, the various comments made by the eminent political scientists. So Ramsay Moore saying the cabinet is a steering wheel, and Lowell was saying that a cabinet is a cabinet is a keystone, that was Lowell. Marriott was saying cabinet is a pivot, that was by the Marriott. Gladstone saying cabinet is a solar rod, Gladstone. Burker saying cabinet is a magnet. Bagot saying the cabinet is a hyphen. Sir Ivor Jennings saying the cabinet is a core, that was Jennings. Amiri saying cabinet is a central by the Amiri. So the position of cabinet in the British government became as strong, and dictatorship of cabinet in book How Britain Governed, a body which is given the fairly omnipotent, however incapable. So now there is a the dictatorship is far more absolute. Kitchen cabinet, Article 74, Council of Minister, 75 other provisions, 77 conduct of the business, 78 duty of Prime Minister respect to the furnishing the information. Now there is a Prime Minister as a resorted to the device of inner cabinet. It being a small unit like kitchen cabinet or inner cabinet, that is a extra constitutional body. It is a small unit. It is more efficient decision making body. It can meet more often and deal with the businesses such as the expeditious large cabinet. It helps the Prime Minister in maintaining the secrecy. It reduces the authority and status of the cabinet as the highest decision making body. It circumvent the legal process by allowing play influential role in the government. So phenomenal kitchen cabinet, that is decision are cooked and placed before the cabinet. It also exists the USA and Britain and is quite powerful. So this is all about the kitchen cabinet. Okay, so this is important point which discussed there. The article 42 amendment was also there, and that is okay. Now this all is completed.